I'm Patrick Nevins. I'm from Hogan Lovells. I'm here at the Flame Conference with Hiroshi Hashimoto from the Institute of Energy Economics in Japan. And Mr. Hashimoto gave a very interesting presentation on Monday during the first day of the conference at the LNG Day on a Japan update. And the title of your presentation was actually a question, which was, is Japan overcommitting to the LNG market? And you posed a difficult question for yourself in your title, so I'll ask it back to you.
Actually, the question is presented by the organizer. So my task was to answer that question, and I'm not sure I answered this perfectly or not. The companies are trying to avoid the situation that overcommitting LNG. So they would like to know as soon as possible when any of the nuclear reactors can come back. But it is the most difficult question these days. The government just stated over the weekend that reactors are needed to avoid power shortages this summer. So the companies are trying to find out when those reactors are coming back and what incremental LNG demand will be, and by ensuring one by one they can purchase additional requirement LNG, but right now it is not so certain what volumes they should acquire from the market.
And I know no one knows when reactors will come back on. Do we even know when we will know when the reactors will come back on? Or that's hard to say at this point as well?
Yes. At least the central government stated that reactors are needed. That is one big step. But they have a long way to go to persuade local governments, local communities, and the general public to convince that this is necessary.
And my sense is, at least in the interim, the world LNG market has been able to supply. I mean, the volumes ramped up very impressively, and is that a correct interpretation of what's happened since Fukushima?
Yes, indeed. The reaction from the market immediately after the crisis was very impressive, and I'd like to express sincere thank you for those suppliers and other players to cope with this situation. Of course, the shortage caused by the nuclear stoppage has been covered by both LNG and oil, as well as other energy sources and other conservation measures. So next summer, Japan would have to implement more measures to conserve energy consumption, because shortage of nuclear would be even more severe than last year. And for this year, incremental procurement of LNG would be also limited by the capacity to import LNG into Japan, and also supply to the gas-fired power plants, because all of the plants are pretty much run at maximum level of capacity. So it may be constrained by those bottlenecks within the value chain.
And that's, I mean, we hear a lot about more LNG supply coming in from Australia and even potentially North America, but I'm hearing it's maybe not a supply problem. Are these bottlenecks in Japan likely to continue going forward in years in advance, or are they removed?
Right after the nuclear disaster last year, more companies are now planning to expand their capacity to import LNG, and also trying to install new gas-fired power generation, and that would help in years to come.
And we hear a lot here at the European Gas Conference about trying to get off oil index prices and going to more hub-based prices in Europe. Is Japan forever locked into oil index prices, or is that an issue there as well?
Yeah, it's also an issue because after March 2011, of course, imports of fossil fuels increased a lot, and at the same time, prices are also going up. So utility companies have been criticized for buying expensive fossil fuels. Somehow it may be sound unjustifiably criticized, but of course high cost has been always an issue. So they are trying to reduce price levels, but also they are trying to incorporate different elements, different methods of gas pricing, so that they can diversify pricing methods and eventually, hopefully, reduce price levels also. So the oil price indexation is a big issue in Japan too.
And maybe some of the new LNG supplies coming on around the world might help with that.
Yes, I hope so. Diversification of supply sources also eventually bringing us diversification of pricing.
Very interesting. Well, thank you very much for sharing your insights in the Japanese market. And
thank you for asking very good questions.
Thank you
very much.